Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of glitches, bugs, errors, interesting mechanics, and other things that you could classify as such. I'm your host, Mr. Nacho, and let's start off by one of the more annoying ones regarding one of the new items, which is the Brewmaster's Cork. What it says it does, it increases active concoction limit by 2 and reduces all incoming damage by 2% for each active concoction. So if we equip it, you can see that we have one concoction active at the moment, which is the bark extract. If we go to activate 2 more, then as you can see it works clearly as it should, as advertised. So we have 3 concoctions active at the moment. This is the new limit and we are getting 6% damage reduction because of the 3 concoctions. However, whenever you mouse over a concoction, it says lasts 60 minutes and will stay in effect after death. Well, unfortunately, with the Brewmaster's Cork, and this is the only situation where it happens whenever you get increased concoction limit, you can also get increased concoction limit through the Alchemist primary perk, or you can get increased concoction limit using the Feastmaster's Signet, but the error only happens whenever you have the Brewmaster's Cork. So whenever you die, the 2 concoctions just go away, even though they should persist through death. So let's see. There will be no cuts here, just so you can see that I didn't remove them or just get rid of them in another way. Yeah, clearly, as you can see, we have only 1 concoction active right now. So they just don't persist through death, they just go away, and you have just wasted 1000 scrap on concoctions thanks to the new Brewmaster's Cork. The next bug that we have regarding the Nightfall is its weird reload animation. So normally, whenever you shoot the Nightfall and you go to reload, you see that it just does this animation. But whenever you just shoot it and you stay aimed in, it will just reload it as if it was Black Maw 47. For whatever reason, I also think that this animation is much faster, so this is a good thing for us. But in general, this is not the correct animation for this gun. What it should look like is... The next thing that we have is the thing that was already mentioned in the first video I ever made about the bugs and exploits, and this is the Arbalist Bore. So what you want to do is you want to apply 2 stacks of Bore and then just keep shooting the Arbalist, preferably with the Bandit mutator, so you can keep shooting very, very quickly. So let's see how much damage it actually does. Yeah, this doesn't really seem right. It's 15, 14, it's all in thousands, and it broke the damage meter, so as you can see, this is way too overpowered, and it shouldn't be in the game. The next bug, or maybe it's just an intended mechanic, and I don't know, is the Dying Breath. So whenever you have the Gas Giant, and whenever it's infused, your neutral backdash charge attack explodes in a 3-meter AoE and leaves an acid cloud, which lasts for 15 seconds. Well, let's see. The acid cloud. Yeah, clearly, as you can see, this is an acid cloud, and it unfortunately, for whatever reason, poisons us as well. So this is not really something like Enigma, where you cannot get poisoned by your own acid. This will just poison you and take away your HP, and also while you are corroded, it will also deal 10% more damage to you. So this is an extremely potent debuff that you have on yourself, so you better watch out for the Gas Giant. The next thing that we have here is a clear inconsistency between the skills that empower you for the duration and their skill cooldowns. So this says that it will last for 20 seconds and has a cooldown of 63 seconds. So usually what would happen with skill like the Bullet Storm is whenever the duration runs out, then the cooldown starts. So it would last for 20 seconds and would have a cooldown of 42 seconds. So you would be able to use it every minute and 2 seconds. But for whatever reason, with Death Wish, it just goes on cooldown immediately after you use it. so you can use it every 63 seconds. I don't know if this is intended or if it should be this way, but it's a clear inconsistency between the same type of skill, which is a self buff, and it just works completely differently to any other one that we have in the game. So as you can see, we just pop Bulletstorm. It's red at the bottom right corner, and it doesn't really go on cooldown until it's over. But when it comes to Death Wish, it immediately just goes gray and on cooldown. What we can do is we can block it with the shield. For whatever reason, it just works. It doesn't drain our HP, but it will just take our shield. The next little thing that we have is actually a curious interaction, and I think it's quite fun. This is an interaction between participation medal and the dried fruit. So as you can see, it increases our health by 10, stamina by 10, movement speed by 10%, and damage reduction by 10%. But whenever we have it equipped, and we consume a dried fruit, which regenerates 5% of our health instantly, it will actually buff the participation medal to increase every single stat that it increases by 11 or 11% instead of 10. So this is just a way to buff the participation medal if you want to use it. The next thing that we have is, then again, I don't really know if this is an intended mechanic or if this is a bug, but whenever you spam your reload key, whenever you shoot the Spore Bloom, it will just reload faster. So this is the normal reload speed. Let's stack the Outcast Band, or yeah, Outcast Ring. So we have the baseline. So this is how fast it will reload manually just by itself. And this is how fast it will reload whenever I spam the reload key. Yeah, as you can see, it's clearly much faster than just this. So for whatever reason, that's just the way it works. If you want to use Spore Bloom effectively, better get used to spamming your reload key because it increases the reload speed by a lot. The next thing we have on our list is quite a fun interaction that can actually be quite useful whenever you use a mod build. It's a combination of a Cube Gun and the Shiny Hoglure. And what the Shiny Hoglure does, it's reloading grants 25 to 30 mod power to both weapons based on percentage of magazine reloaded. And whenever you shoot a Cube Gun, each projectile feels like it's just reloading the gun immediately. So let's see, we have our mods empty currently, but if we just shoot our feet, you can see that we are getting a lot of mod power thanks to the Shiny Hoglure interaction. We have all of our mods stacked up right now. So this actually gives quite a lot of mod power if you just shoot at your feet, or if you shoot an enemy, but then it will just take quite some time to come back. But just shooting at your feet with the Shiny Hoglure and the Cube Gun will load up your mods extremely quickly. Also, a public service announcement. I'm not entirely sure whether this is the case and how much of this is true, but I have heard and read on the subreddit that currently there is an issue with scaling with Monarch, and right now it doesn't do the damage that it's supposed to do. So I will not be creating a build for it yet. I will just wait for this to get fixed and for it to deal the correct amount of damage, because right now it just feels extremely weak. The next thing we have is an interaction between the Night Guard and the Soul Guard and the Soul Shard. Well, they basically both give you benefits whenever you have a summon. And usually you can only get one summon from one skill. But in this case, whenever you use Night's Guard, it actually counts as 2. So you can clearly see that we are getting 2 stacks of Bulwark and 2 stacks of Soul Shard. Because, well, they are actually 2 swords and they count as 2 different summons. So this will make the build much easier. If you want to cap this ring out, you can just run Handler and you will have the 3rd summon. And this will actually be extremely easy to max out this ring. The next thing that I wanted to mention is the scaling of Miasma skill. And what it does basically is it applies 4 dots in an AoE to every single enemy around you in the 15 meters vicinity. And what it says is it lasts 20 seconds and it's a skill, but it's a skill that does not get any benefits from the skill duration. So as you can see, if we equip the Stone of Continuance, it will still only last for 20 seconds. However, if we change it to the Timekeeper's Jewel, which changes the duration of dots, it will actually last 30 seconds now. So it actually doesn't take into account the skill duration, but it takes into account the dot duration. So if you want to build around the Miasma skill, you better think about the Timekeeper's Jewel or the Band of the Fanatic. The next thing that we have is actually gotten quite popular recently, and I've seen a lot of videos about it, which is a combination of Bore and the Atom Splitter, because it has a very similar interaction to the Arbalest. So if we were to apply Bore and then try to hit them with the Atom Splitter, the Vision Strike, then it will deal some insane damage. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, it also breaks the meter. It was doing over 10,000 damage, so this is not really, again, an intended mechanic, I don't believe, but, well, this is how it works. The next thing that we have is Feral Judgment and the discrepancy from what it says to how it actually works. So what it says is actually dealing melee damage 6 times over 10 seconds empowers Feral Judgment, and when it's empowered, natural backdash charge attack applies death sentence. Basically, what you need to do is you don't really need to hit anything 6 times, 4 times is enough, and you will see why in a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we do the backdash charge attack. And as you can see, it still applies death sentence ability, simply because the backdash evade counts as 2 attacks. As you can see, we have 2 numbers. So if you do just 1, 2, 3, 4, this will count as 5 and 6, and it will actually apply the ability for you. The next thing that we have is actually a curious interaction between the skill Reboot, Archetype Ritualist, and its ability to Purge. So on Relic use cleanses all negative status effects. And then whenever you use the Relic with the Atonement Fold, it should theoretically take away our bleeding. But as you can see, whenever we just take away the bleeding, it just reapplies, thanks to the Atonement Fold. And if we use all 10 of our relics, whenever the reboot skill ends, or we actually reactivate it, it will apply 10 stacks of bleed on us and it will just kill us almost immediately. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is that the wording on the Blessed Ring is really just incorrect. What it should say is, after consuming a relic, you should gain 2 bulwark stacks for 30 seconds. Because what it says now is, after receiving a benefit from a relic, gain 2 stacks of bulwark for 30 seconds. And this is clearly not true, since the Tranquil Heart passively grants 2 health regeneration per second. So it's a benefit from a relic that we get, but it doesn't give you the Blessed Ring ability. Also, the Blooming Heart and its orbs that it spawns don't give you the Blessed Ring bulwark stacks as well. So the only way that you can get the bulwark stacks from the Blessed Ring is whenever you consume a relic. The gaining a benefit from a relic or receiving a benefit from a relic is just a very poorly worded choice, and it doesn't really work this way. So this would be all for the 3rd episode of all of the bugs, exploits, and different interactions that we could find. If you have any more of them, please let me know in the comments below. I will try to include them in the next video I make. And thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day.